Pure madness now. People are in the streets making speeches and otherwise freaking out, something you don't normally see in China, where the government has a very tight lockdown on every single person in the country. Shelves are bare in many areas while people fight over food. Since they've outlawed driving in lockdown areas, people are fleeing to walk miles down highways to get away from lockdowns just to avoid food shortages. Yep, the cages are back and people can't even speak to each other for fear of information getting out. You see, the central government money is flowing to build forced quarantine camps so quickly, the quality is laughable and will serve no purpose other than to satisfy the party leader in charge so that he can tell his boss that everything is going according to plan. None of this stuff actually has to work. This is how China operates. Big targets, big numbers, big quotas. That's all that matters in a top-down leadership model, not actual results. For example, things like testing numbers or propaganda about mass testing. Last I checked, you're not supposed to use the same Q-tip when you test consecutive people. Oops. People are forced to wait all day for COVID testing in snowstorms. And people in warm weather areas are forced to crowd together, spreading the very thing that the government fears so much. Again, to get the testing quotas. It doesn't actually matter if people get COVID. They need to force people together to get the testing quotas so that they hit their target numbers. And when they get a positive result, ding, 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 it's off to the camps, locked up for weeks in a metal box where you're forcefully tested every single day and cut off from the rest of the world. Razor wire goes up to lock people off from each other and to prevent any sort of movement. And when razor wire isn't enough, the electric fences go up. And when the electric fences don't keep people out well enough, the police straight up weld people into their homes. Yup, they're doing it again. Even after all the bad press about the people getting welded into their houses and starved out, they are doing it again. Robots are roaming the streets in Shanghai enforcing the rules, although I suspect this is mostly just propaganda. And watchtowers with searchlights were erected in Dongguan in southern China to catch lockdown escapees. This is real-life paranoia 1984 government control. The military is being sent in to quash dissent and stop anyone from moving around. People are locked in their apartments, and sometimes the food deliveries don't show up. I'm getting flashbacks to when people were scaling their buildings to sneak out to try to find something to eat. A friend of mine at 4 a.m. had the pandemic enforcement police in Hunan province come to install motion detectors on his door to make sure that he didn't open it. If you do, there will be punishment. But perhaps the biggest issue is what a person on the ground told me. That, yeah, they'll put up with being locked in their apartments. They'll put up with being cut off from the world. They'll put up with the loss of income, but at least give us food. The thing is, people are starving. And if food does arrive, it quickly gets stolen. And that's caused absolute chaos, resulting in people foraging for scraps. I kid you not, the Chinese government doesn't want you to see this stuff, but it's happening. When they do get food deliveries, people will kneel and show their appreciation to the government, but the government will often claim that COVID is spreading on food and then force people to throw the food away. You see, because of the lack of transparency since the beginning of the origin of the coronavirus within China, people have no idea where it's coming from. So, an official will come to the conclusion that, hey, it came from Australia. Hey, it came on beef exports. Hey, it came from ice cream. Hey, it came from India. Hey, it came from a lab in America. All of these things cause crazy knee-jerk reactions, like causing people to throw away all the food that was just donated to them. But like I said, you might not know about any of this. China doesn't not only want its citizens to know about this, but they also don't want you to know about it either. You see, everything in China is blocked. All social media is filtered to appear as a utopia. hundreds of videos pop up showing people